On this installment of Cumberland Rover, I risk my life on an engineering site managed by rodents, my lug sail has an identity crisis, and plants attack. Winds were light and steady until they weren't. And the scenery was gorgeous. Except for this utility tower in the middle of the lake.
Soon may the wellerman come, bring us coffee, tea, and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, take our leave and go. At a fair on the town, her hair was blonde and her dress was brown. Soon may the wellerman come around.
It was an overcast day with light rain on and off, and I had some free time and knew I wanted to go sailing, but I didn't know where, so I was just kind of driving around for a little while, thinking about how spoiled and fortunate I am to have a lot of different locations to choose from. I drove past Energy Lake, didn't really suit my mood, and I had another launch site in mind. Went down the gravel road and came to a large oak trunk all the way across it. There was no getting past that. Finally, I decided it might be time to check out somewhere new, and it's kind of surprising that I've never actually been boating here before, but I've always had it in the back of my mind, and the place is known as Honker Lake. Honker Lake is a very shallow man-made lake in LBL that was established by a conservation group in the 30s, before TVA or the Forest Service had anything to do with the area. I've always been curious about the place, but have been deterred by the thick vegetation that grows in the lake, primarily lily pads. But in mid-April, the pads have yet to emerge, so I figured I'd give it a shot. The entire lake seems to be no deeper than 5 or 6 feet, and everywhere just below the surface, vegetation is visible that gives the water a dark, almost black appearance, which was a little bit eerie at first. Making use of what little wind there is, I set sail for the western end of the lake. There's a large utility tower almost dead center in the middle of the lake, and this does kind of detract from the scenery a little bit. Obviously the lake is deepest near the dam, and the further west I travel, the shallower it gets, and the more vegetation is present. At this point, the rudder is constantly dragging through a thick carpet of plant growth just below the water's surface, and you can see the old dead stems of lily pads sticking up above the water. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if this is the first time a boat has ever sailed on this lake. My skiff is one of very few craft that would be capable of sailing in thick vegetation like this. I spot a narrow side creek and decide to investigate. When the wind is right, these creeks present some fun and challenging sailing, but you have to be wary of underwater obstacles, such as fallen tree trunks and branches. The creek seems to dead end. Then I realize it's just a hard S-bend. I hear the sound of rushing water upstream, and I'm drawn to carry on using the oars. The rushing water turns out to be an overflowing beaver dam, and they've been hard at work in this creek. Alright, I'm going to get a little closer. I'm trusting these animals on their engineering abilities that the dam is not going to break. Above the dam is the bridge for the hiking trail, and it kind of sags to one side, and on the low side the water is only about 12 inches away from flooding the bridge. So I don't think this is what the Forest Service intended, but that doesn't bother the beavers. They do their own thing. They don't care about human intentions. Back on the main lake, the wind is beginning to pick up, and I see some dark storm clouds on the horizon. I start to think about making my way back towards the dam. Nearing the dam in the deeper section of the lake, the wind just continues to build, and it's looking like a storm may indeed be brewing. I'm enjoying myself just sailing around near the dam, and suddenly the gale hits. Excellent sail trim right here. I've had enough of lug sails. I want a crab claw rig now. Surprise crab claw aside, it was a great day exploring a new lake with some fast, fun sailing at the end. It should be interesting to return to Honker Lake this summer when the lily pads are in season. I imagine it'll be a very different experience. I'm also curious to try fishing here. I'm told by some local anglers there are a lot of fish in the lake, but it's seldom fished because people don't want to put up with getting snagged in the heavy vegetation. Personally, I don't mind the challenge, and snagging is much less of an issue fishing from a boat rather than the bank, as most anglers on Honker Lake are doing. This channel will continue to charge along under full sail, but at cumberlandrover.com I offer videos not available on this channel or anywhere else. The videos and articles are free. I don't run ads, but I do have a store offering some unique handmade products of my own design that I think will be of interest to sailors and outdoor enthusiasts.